At the state capitol, Governor Ivey signing a bill into law that allows veterans to become teachers for a 5-year period without needing a college degree.
Sponsored by Senator Matt Woods and House Representative Rick Ream, Senate Bill 149 was signed into law, creating a temporary teaching certificate that lasts up to 5 years for Alabama military veterans who are interested in becoming a teacher. While certain parts of the state of Alabama are experiencing teacher shortages, Governor Ivey says employing Alabama vets is the best option.
The values and experience that veterans have from service. So, honor, integrity, selfless service, all the values that are stressed in the military. Veterans would be a very good mentors, discipline they're teaching them. It's a good match.
Representative Ream says veterans must meet the requirements like having proof of 48 months of active duty military service with an honorable discharge or medical separations. Also, vets do not need an associate's degree to teach, but they do need to have 60 college credits and a GPA of at least 2.5. This bill will take effect on October 1st, 2026.
And the Senate has passed a measure that would require students to sing the national anthem once a week in public schools. It only applies to the first stanza of the national anthem and would be a constitutional amendment Alabamians would have to vote on. Alabama law already requires students to conduct the Pledge of Allegiance each school day, but student participation is optional. The bill now heads to the House for a vote.
And there's another bill making its way through the state legislature that would require a notice be given to tenants who have been evicted that property they left behind is being disposed of. The bill also provides civil immunity for landlords and officers for any damage caused to property while it's being removed. Representative Mac Butler, who proposed the legislation, says it'll make existing protocols state law.
The sheriff shows up to make sure there's no breach of the peace, and then the landlord, has gotten a writ of possession through the courts, and the landlord is totally responsible to set any contents on the curb.
Opponents of the bill say it could have unintended consequences for renters in Alabama. It now heads to the state Senate for a vote.
Tonight, a bill in the Alabama legislature is causing controversy among lawmakers. It's all about bringing down the cost of power bills in the state, but some say there are better ways to go about it. Representative Mac Butler argued before a committee today that the Public Service Commission needs to be further regulated. His bill makes those commissioners impeachable if they do not hold rate case hearings. Butler explains these hearings have not been held in years and require utilities to justify their power rates before the PSC. But Representative A.J. McCampbell questioned the impeachment provision of the bill.
But the people of the state of Alabama keeps electing the same people. Is that basically what has been going on? And these people have not been attentive to what the people of the state of Alabama elect them to do?
And people in my district are literally choosing between energy cost and food, energy cost and medicine, and that is not right. We're trying to recruit industry to Alabama, and one of the first things they're going to look at is energy cost.
The bill was ultimately carried over in today's committee meetings and will be taken up again next week.